Hey, I have decided to go ahead and we're just going to do a quick walkthrough video of the spookoree haunted castle. Just walk through the entryway. This is our scary section. As you can see, we have the little spider webs and stuff underneath the stairwells on each side. I do have some glow-in-the-dark scene setters in the back with a couple black lights posted on the back side of the columns there. Really did give a really nice effect. This is our courtyard that we've turned into our cemetery, Mount Francis Cemetery. If you've ever been out to Cub World in Danbury Council in Cincinnati for the Cub Scout camp, you'll know all about Francis. We have our rotisserie here. The gnome, it is a garden gnome that will be turning rotisserie. Don't have the head on the gnome at this point because they are calling for some rain, so I didn't put his head on, but it does actually run off a rotisserie motor, so the skeleton will go around. There's a fire that will be underneath. We have obviously our mausoleum sitting in the back corner. Have a fog machine that pumps fog out of the mausoleum. Have our Lenore sitting in the back here. One of my first bigger props that I've actually got really detailed into. The plaque, which is the Nevermore, part of the phrases from Nevermore, had that done by Tombstone Factory for me. I really like that addition to the whole statue portion there. The rest of our cemetery here, including our funeral scene. This used to be Mama. It used to be had more of a face to her, and just kind of a white robe type thing. She'd been with me since I started doing this some 30 odd years ago, and decided to finally give her a makeover and put her into a wedding dress that I had able to get my hands on. Plus the rest of the cemetery, and we have just the little sewer zombie coming out there. One of the things that was actually given to me by my mentor, Count Marco. He's been doing haunt for 52 years now, so he's coming up on his 52nd year. Hopefully I'll get some video and pictures of his haunt as well to get posted up. But as far as the scary section, they'll come in through this little walkway here, and the first thing they're going to come to is going to be the boiler room. So we do have the boiler here. Yes, there is somebody inside the boiler. Had some panels on the front of that, just regular foam panels. They didn't last too well, so we just added some black material to the back so the person inside can actually reach out. Have our little fire going on down here that we was able to add some flickering LEDs to that I picked up from Asylum Props. Plus we do have a fog that sits up on the roof there with our fog chiller, so it pumps fog down through the pipes, so it gives it a little bit more of a boiler room. Hand-painted brick wall that's all on canvas, old tent canvas in our spark fence here. Then we had, and just a couple other odds and ends I'd picked up through different flea markets and so forth. This room here is just a couple of simple pop-outs with some strobe lights. We actually do spend the night out here in between, on our Saturday nights after we close up. Some of us do stay out here just so we don't have to feel like driving all the way home. So we'd actually sleep in that room. So there's not much in there. We do have here our butcher room, though. We got just some sheets up for the walls. Had me a flickering light that I used with a fluorescent bulb starter up in that box up there. I know there's a lot of tutorials out for those types of things, including our stakes down here that I got from one of Alan Hopp's videos, how-to videos that he puts out, which I think those turned out really nice. And of course we have our butcher sign down here. Just a little pot just to kind of fill in some space on this one. So as they're coming down the hallway, they continue coming down. In front of them, they do have the little casket there, a little child-sized casket. It just kind of sits there as just kind of a decoration to give them something to look at as they're walking up. We do have the floating dining room here, though. Everything is painted in blacklight paint. Have two black lights up above the doorway here. The little backdrop back there is just black material. Those are actually little pictures that were embroidered into the material just to kind of give it a window effect, and that does all actually glow in the dark as well. So this is really just kind of a static room, no characters in here or anything like that. Just something to look at, and they really seem to have been really enjoyed that one. Just something to look at there. And then we have the library, which is also new for this year. It's an old candelabra. Again, it's one of those candelabras, one of those things that I picked up many years ago from Spencer's when they actually sold Halloween out of their stores instead of doing Spirit. We have our bookcase, our chessboard. Chessboard does have a moving piece on there. Our fireplace. Again, it's got the good old-fashioned great stuff fire underneath with some flickering LEDs. Again, from Asylum Props. He's got some really good deals on the flickering light bulbs. Just had the little bookcase in there. One thing I really like is I picked up this typewriter here. It's an old cast iron typewriter. I picked it up for like $14 at a little thrift store flea market type thing that my daughter and I hit last year. And as soon as I saw it, and I saw it was for $14, I said, okay, it's going, and we're putting a library in the haunt. So this whole room kind of started with that little typewriter there. So got my little stereo here. It does actually been gutted out. Has an MP3 player with speakers in there, just to kind of pump some music through here. Got the bookcase. I know I posted the video for this one before, and I got to do a little tweaking on that. For some reason, it was really working well at home during the setup at home and so forth. When I got it out here and it started running for a couple hours, started giving me a little bit of problems. So we're going to have to work on that a little bit. I've got a couple other pop-outs here just to fill in some space. And got our little ghost area here, which we just covered this area with some black plastic. Got some hula hoops and some tulle in here. This is also another one of those how-to videos picked up. It was the Haunt Lady, I do believe, that I saw this on, and I thought it was a really cool idea. She had just a couple of them, but I had a little bit bigger space, so we actually ended up doing 4. And then we have a couple of the so-called black light spotlights from Spirit. Again, I know they don't necessarily do a real good job at the whole glow-in-the-dark aspect of things. Sorry, I had to turn my phone off there. But they did their job for in here. It was really worked out good. Continue down the little walk path here. Next room we come up to is going to be our nursery. Little creeped out nursery. I know, again, this being a scouting event, we got to really concentrate on the spooky, scary, and not the gory. So you won't see a lot of blood and so forth in our haunt. But this is one of those. This is the room that seems to take all the, I guess you could say, the upper level scout people that are in our council, and a couple of them really don't much care for this room, only because it creeps them out. They don't have a problem with the room itself. It's just they just get creeped out by it a little bit too much. We have our little mirror here. There is a character behind the mirror with the spotlight, so you can flip the spotlight on and off as people are walking by. It really seems to help, with a couple good scares on that one, plus a couple additional pop-out windows here. I did these through Staples, just printed up some of the old black and white pictures that usually float around on Facebook and you can Google up. Had them do it on their vinyl banner material. I think I'm going to do them again, but I'm going to make sure they're a little bit bigger to kind of fill in that space a little more. We have our glass door here with a little scene setter in. Now this is a pretty solid glass door. They can come up and they can bang on that thing as hard as they want, and they've been using this one for about 10 years and it hasn't broke yet. And I've gotten in that room and I've pounded on it pretty good, and there's actually a red spotlight in the inside of the room, so it lights up behind them. So really all they see is more of the shadow figure. Kind of matches what's on the scene setter. I think we're going to have to replace that for this coming weekend because it did get torn up pretty good, which I half expected. Next we have our little psych room here. We got our Reagan doll in here. Again, it was another one of those things that was donated to me by Count Marco. Yeah, we have a couple little prosthetic legs in here that were also donated to us. It's amazing what people will give to you when you run a haunt. We do have our little fluorescent flickering lights. These are the ones that I made, and again, I have a video on these. Not really a how-to video, but I did show a video and kind of how I made them. They're really simple. I'll get some more information on those. And we got to our next spot here. We have the other side of the hospital room. Again, another light. We have just a couple bunks in here that we pulled in, a couple old crutches. Yeah, and this is another one of those rooms that really has a lot of, as odd as it looks, it looks pretty simple, but the details in that simplicity. So it really works out good for this room. And we have, finally, as far as our big rooms go, of course, looks like we've had a brief casualty here just from the time I started walking around the haunt, is our carnival room here. We do have a lollipop man that picked up that idea off the Halloween forum site, which was really cool, that little idea. He does have a face on the other side there, and little dummy head that he makes it look like the lollipop's licking the person instead of the other way around. And we have our cotton candy monster back here, who of course we know that our body parts always get stuck to cotton candy. And our little trapeze artist up there in the top. And we end up with finally just a quick little end of the walk scene. Just a little jail cell bars, PVC pipe. I do have a snap cracker up in the top there. That little cracker really seems to get that little last scares. They're finishing up their little walkthrough. That usually gets them pretty good. They're not really expecting that one. Again, that was one of those fright prop deals. Been working for a couple years now, so it's a really good little thing. We do have some other stuff on our upstairs up there. It's more of a non-scary. We'll try to get some pictures of that put in here, and we'll get those posted as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and feel free to comment. Thank you.